Hi, muckers. Good morning. So, I just hopped out of the shower, and when I was in the shower, I was thinking about JoJo Siwa's rebrand for some reason. And the reason for it was because before I went to bed, I just woke up. Before I went to bed, I read all these news articles about JoJo Siwa performing at New York City Pride, I think it was. And I was reading all the comments. It was like a Facebook post of a news article. So you're obviously getting like probably the worst demographic on Facebook, like just like the worst people. But they were all saying really interesting things. I thought that they were going to be on the opposing side of JoJo, but there were so many like Facebook mommies that were commenting and being like, I wish people would embrace JoJo Siwa the way they embraced Miley Cyrus. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that that is the one thing that'll piss me off if someone will ever compare the JoJo Siwa rebrand to Miley Cyrus bangers. As someone who is a huge Miley Cyrus fan, that is the single most offensive thing someone could ever do. But anyway, I was thinking about it, and I was watching all these videos of JoJo at, I do think it was New York City Pride, and I was actually in New York at the same time as her, so I was fearful walking the streets that I was going to hear Karma's a bitch, I should have known better. I was fearful. And also, all these performances of JoJo, it's crazy because obviously she's lip syncing the entire thing. I think we're all aware of that. But she's not even hiding it. Like, she's basically holding a microphone as a prop, and the song will be playing, and like, the music's still going. So it's interesting. I don't really think that she's focusing on like the artistic standpoint. I think we're all aware of that. But I was watching these videos of her, and she is, trying her best to be so edgy. Like, she's downing bottles of alcohol. I think it was a bottle of like Fireball or something. And it was like one of the big bottles, and she went like this and didn't even swallow. And here's my thing. If you have to pretend to drink alcohol to be like cool and edgy, I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing, guys? Like, this edgy rebrand is so inauthentic, and there's so many people online that are genuinely enjoying it. And I don't know if I'm just like a hater, but for me, it is like the lowest form of entertainment, and it's actually quite irritating. And I don't know, again, if it's just me being a hater, but I don't understand why people are even just like, are you entertained? And one thing that like has been standing out to me so much is it seems that every day I'm seeing a news article where JoJo Siwa is downing a bottle of alcohol on a stage, whether she doesn't even take a sip of it or it's like water colored, right? And then the other thing is these articles where they're saying like JoJo Siwa dancing provocatively on stage, JoJo Siwa's wearing crazy costumes. It just seems so bad. Like it doesn't seem good. And I'm like, okay, so if you're watching this right now and you're enjoying the rebrand, I need you to like tell me why. Like, I need you to describe to me in specific detail what about it is good to you, because all I'm seeing people not address is the reason for the rebrand. Now, we've talked about this, or we've touched on this before, but the JoJo Siwa ex-OMG pop scandal, when she had that pop group that her and her mother mistreated, that, in my opinion, is the reason that this rebrand's happening, because it's so distracting. You know what I mean? But before I get to that, I was seeing all these news articles, right, about the Pride, and it says the following. So, from Variety magazine, we have JoJo Siwa drinks from a vodka bottle at LA Pride and drags online trolls who are calling her a man. She says that I fucked more girls than him. Okay, I don't know where this is coming. I literally do not know where this is coming from. Not only did the former Dance Mom star end her performance by drinking from a vodka bottle, it's not known if it contained real alcohol or it was just water, but also dropped plenty of F-bombs, because to be a bad girl, you have to say fuck and shit and dick. Like, so JoJo says, I performed in front of 6-year-olds that are lighter than you. She ranted at the crowd before pointing to a child being held on someone's shoulders near the front of the stage. In fact, there's a 6-year-old right here. Why the fuck are you here? I love it. I'm so here for it. You're awesome. My point is, don't let the superstar be lighter than you guys. Let me hear you make some motherfucking noise. She went on to say how much she loves performing in front of a live audience. You guys aren't the dicks online, she said. Not gonna lie, I have to deal with a lot of them online. I woke up this morning, and as one of them does, I opened my phone and the first thing that pops up was a picture of me performing when I was in London a few days ago. Some guy, I stalked his page, he was definitely straight. This guy commented, and this was a new comment for me. Siwa continued. It wasn't about a dance that I did. It wasn't about my hairline. It wasn't that I'm a 5'9" giant toddler. It was that this man needs to be stopped. Siwa insisted that she doesn't let the remarks get to her because she realized two things. Number one, my dick was bigger than his. And number two, I've fucked more girls than him. Now, here's the thing. Yes, get him, queen. That my dick is bigger than yours. Who was it that made that comment? I think it was Lady Gaga. Do you remember the time period online? It was super disgusting that this was being used as something against Lady Gaga. Not even the fact that it just wasn't true. If you were online during the time period that Lady Gaga was having her come up in like 2008, 2009, 2010, etc., it was said online that Lady Gaga was transgender. It was that Lady Gaga had a secret penis. And this was like a huge thing that followed Lady Gaga throughout her entire career. And the way that she would always respond to it would be along the lines of, who cares? That's not what my music's about. Or if she was talking to a really misogynistic person, she said, well, I would assume that my dick would be bigger than yours if I even had one. So Jojo Siwa is like stealing her drags from like the pop stars that have came before her, right? But anyways, so a couple of my friends went to Jojo Siwa's London. It was a Mighty Hoopla. It's like a queer festival. Jojo was performing, and my friends were sending me videos from it. And no joke, again, I don't mean to be a hater. The performances were just like lackluster. Like, not only did she perform Karma, I think 2 times. Like, my friends were telling me that she performed this song multiple times, like, because she doesn't have much to work with. But also, she would go on these, like, manic speeches where she would just swear at the crowd and say as many swear words as possible. And again, I saw uploads of that clip from London, and people were saying along the lines of the comparison to Miley Cyrus in the Bangers era. And again, oh my God, stop it! Stop it! Now, here's my thing. Everyone says, like, on the defense of Jojo Siwa, well, she had to grow up eventually, and, you know, she's growing up with her audience. Here's the thing. That's not true, and I don't know why people don't talk about this. Jojo Siwa, maybe 2 years ago, was performing for, like, 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds on her sold-out tours. You know what I mean? She was doing these big, big, big tours, and she was absolutely selling them out. By the way, people always talk about the fact that I'm, like, hiding my feet. And what about it? I don't want to end up on WikiFeet. Mind your own business. Here's the thing. Jojo Siwa, again, was performing on these really successful tours not that long ago. But not that long ago, these people were like 4, 5, 6 years old. So what age does that make them now? What, 8, 9 years old at max? Whereas Miley Cyrus grew up with her audience. Miley Cyrus's audience were like the same age as her when she was doing Hannah Montana, or maybe a little bit younger. And it was many years after Hannah Montana. It was 2013, the Bangers era. Literally one of the, honestly, not only was it such a provocative, tongue-in-cheek, messy era, but you know what was good about Miley Cyrus as well? I wouldn't say it's her artistic peak, because I think that I think that Miley Cyrus and her Dead Pets is her artistic peak. But Miley Cyrus made good music alongside, you know, being provocative. And the weird thing was, it felt natural when it came to Miley, when she was swearing or she was drinking and, you know, she was partying or she was doing all this shit or, you know, being just weird and out there. Like, it felt authentic. And it was like one of a kind at that moment, right? Of a Disney star really going on the other, you know, side. But Miley Cyrus's main demographic at that time were, you know, people that were growing up with her. So they were turning 20 when Miley was turning 20 during the Bangers era. And it was cool and made sense because those 20-year-olds were probably having the same rebellious thoughts in different ways in their own life. Whereas for Jojo Siwa, we now just have an entire generation of like 6-year-olds who are watching Jojo Siwa at Pride festivals being like, fuck you guys, fuck you assholes, I hate you all, and like pretending to drink alcohol. That's why this isn't working. And that's why, like, I just find this such a fascinating conversation, because I love marketing and it was something that I did study in school. And this was just done so bad. And I think that the reason it was done so bad was because it was trying its best, like, as a brand, to just be as shocking as possible, as quickly as possible. But obviously that burns out really quickly, because this XOMG pop scandal that she was in was right before the rebrand of Jojo Siwa. Now, again, if you're aware of that story, it was when Jojo Siwa and her mom, I think Jess Siwa, had, you know, created this group of really young people trying to like emulate. It was basically Jojo Siwa's mom knew that Jojo Siwa's like time as being a child star was like ending. So they were trying to get a new group, and you know, they had success, and they're still on tour, I think, which is really crazy as well. But with that group, the children were treated so bad, and Jess treated them so bad, and JoJo treated them so bad. They were shouting at them. They were depriving them of breaks. And like, there's a whole article about it where specifically that one girl who had medical needs was basically not even being seen to, because you've got to overwork yourself to dance to be a part of JoJo Siwa's boot camp. And the rebrand came at a time when it was make or break for JoJo Siwa's reputation. So I think her and her team kind of jumped the gun of trying to ruin the reputation in an edgy way, so that you, the audience, couldn't have ruined it because of an actual reason that it should have been. You know what I mean? Like treating kids poorly, overworking children, having terrible work environments that are not meeting right regulations, like that is something that someone does deserve to be cancelled for. And I don't use that word cancelled very often, surprisingly, because we talk about a lot of people and we see people get cancelled and it never works. But like when it comes to not protecting children or prioritizing money over children or fame over children, it's incredibly, incredibly wrong. And that's why I just don't know what the trajectory of JoJo's career is going to be when we like move forward now, because it's in the most respectful way, it's like a joke to people now. You know what I mean? Like Jojo Siwa had this huge brand, was very, very, very successful, made, I would assume, millions, if not, I wouldn't say billions, but millions of dollars with the franchise of the bows and everything, and the dances and the kiddie songs and stuff. And then this rebrand, it's like, okay, no one's even listening to the music. Sure, they're watching the crazy, you know, performances that are just like awful to watch, you know what I mean, and like making fun of. But another thing with that as well is, one of my least favorite things is someone who provokes people and then gets annoyed when people are provoked. So with Jojo Siwa, she is actively provoking the audience, and then is like, well, no, you're bullying me, you can't accept that I've changed, you can't. And it's like, that's not what this is at all. So I think one of my questions that I want to ask you, again, this has just been like on my thoughts all day today, and I think it has to do with the fact I was hearing so many people talk about seeing her at all these different Pride festivals, and I'm like, have so many thoughts about just how bad I think this rebrand, like, it just tanked. What do you think happens next for like a JoJo career? Because I wouldn't say she'll ever be able to sell out arenas with, you know, and also not only that, but the rollout of this is so bad. Like, what, she's released like one song within this entire time of her bad girl image. It's like, you also need to, like, if you're going to provoke people and you're going to try to get the attention of people, use it. You know what I mean? Like, use it. It just, these articles really, like, are just so, I just can't understand it. Like, are people enjoying this? Oh, Jojo Siwa announces a new EP. Okay, when's it coming out? The EP is coming out on July 12th. Okay, so it's coming out on Friday. How many songs? 5 songs, including Karma. So not even an album is ready. Like, I don't even think JoJo and her team know what they're doing. God, these articles. Jojo Siwa screams at crowd during Pride, asking, who the fuck just booed me? Another article. Jojo Siwa curses out fans after getting booed at New York City Pride. Like, is that the career she wanted? Like, is that what all this was for? Like, getting booed at every single Pride festival? Because she got booed at London Pride as well. She got booed at London Pride. She got, or London Mighty Hoopla Festival, which is like Pride. And then got booed at New York City Pride. it's like there's no way that feels good. You know what I mean? Please let me know your opinions on this and like where you think the trajectory of this career is going, and also what you think about the Miley what's the word, comparisons. I just think it's super offensive because like I think Miley is an artist, and I think Miley just like, yes, there were many things that were bad about the Bangers era, but there were so many things that were truly beautiful and really vulnerable. Whereas with JoJo, it's just the opposite. And also, I don't think you can do a rebrand where you're preaching your authentic self, and with every interview you're comparing it to Miley Cyrus's Bangers era. That's basically you saying that I'm trying to copy someone else's authentic era, but don't worry, I'm being authentic. What? I need to know some of your thoughts about this. Please talk to me about it down below. I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.